Hello and welcome to my review of Dark Souls 3. In my opinion, there are three main pillars, all of varying importance, that make any game great. These are first gameplay, second lore, and third graphics. So let's get into it. The combat in this game is really satisfying. There's definitely a learning curve in the beginning. I racked up a lot of deaths in the early game, just getting a feel for the timing and movesets of a lot of the mobs, as well as finding the locations of hidden traps and ambushes. That being said, most of my deaths were against bosses. It felt good to discover the mechanics of some of the boss fights through trial and error. Here we go! Oh, that's legit. Oh, no way, it's a one-shot! The most satisfying part of the game for me, though, was the feeling of finally beating a boss after an hour or two of attempts, or, in some cases, even longer. Dark Souls is a dark game. If I were to pick a game universe to live in, the Dark Souls universe would be dead last on my list. Just take a look at some of these monsters that are in the game. Oh, no, 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 no! Come on! Let's kill him. Or I wanted the dude to kill the mimic. Not only does this game have monsters that make you want to crap your pants, it also has some really cool bosses.
There's 2 health bars. I don't like this.
Is he that way?
Oh, well, you have to do a Cyrus.
Despite all of this, there are some endearing characters in Dark Souls 3.
I'm a firekeeper. I tend to the flame and tend to thee.
This Michelin-looking man being my favorite NPC.
Oh. Pardon me, I was absorbed in thought. I am Siegwart of Katarina.
You learn some of the story and lore from the opening cinematic, as well as talking to NPCs throughout the game. But one of the most important ways to learn about the world you're playing in is by reading the items that you pick up, something that I failed at.
Did you
read the item?
Oh, it's also known as the Giant Slayer. The views in this game are amazing. Some of my favorites include the Twilight City Irithyll of the Boreal Valley, this view of the eclipsed sun at Lothric Castle, and this mountain range at Dragon Peak. What else can I say? The views are simply stunning. I really enjoyed some of the armor sets in the game. I feel like I only scratched the surface during my first playthrough, but here are some of my favorites. Here we have the Black Knight armor. And here we have the Dragon Slayer armor. Because I built my character as a caster, I'm not able to show you some of the really cool, really ridiculous weapons that are in this game. But the game also has really cool spells, some of which I showcase here. That about wraps up my review of Dark Souls 3. The game had great gameplay, really cool lore and characters, and was visually pleasing. If you don't care about spoilers, check out the cinematics. They are awesome. And don't even get me started on the soundtrack. There were high highs and low lows, but overall it was really satisfying and I felt accomplished at the end of the game. I would definitely recommend it. I put about 60 hours into my first playthrough, and there's so many different builds and ways to play the game. I really think you could sink hundreds of hours into it. Thanks for watching.